It's the draft brewery time, and here we are ready for our Rise of Eldrazi pack in the 5th week of the Zendikar Unified Pauper Sealed League. A quick glance of this pack reveals that we have one playable, and it is Narcolepsy, which is essentially a delayed terminate since it doesn't tap the creature the turn that you play it. Soul Tenant, already have one, not playable. Distortion Strike, we're not aggressive. And we do have a Kiln Fiend, but not the type of deck we're trying to play. Skywatch Adept is good, but 4 mana for a 2/2 flyer, and then at best only being a 4/2 flyer just trades with like every flyer, so it's just not that good compared to what we already have. Spawning Wrath is just a way worse Heat Ray. Natural Eye green is going to be almost impossible for us to play because we never opened any good green cards. Third Nest Invader for our pool is interesting. Second Aura Gnarlid interesting too, but Hand of Emrakul, would have killed for an Ulamog's Crusher. But 9 mana, basically 1 more mana for a 1/1 smaller creature, and 1 less Annihilate is just not good enough. So we get to add a Narcolepsy to our build, and let's look at what we have. I basically just called this Jeskai Black for week 5 here. So this is what we're working with. We've got pretty good fixing in Prophetic Prism, Pilgrim's Eye, Holdout Settlements, and a lot of good removal. We've got this new Narcolepsy, Tightening Coils from last week, some defensive early creatures. Dawnglare Invoker, best card in the set. Sheer Drop, one of the sweetest removals. Complete Disregard's good. Tar Snare is making the cut, even though it's pretty bad and will often get cut if they don't have good targets. Vent Sentinel just is like another way to deal 1 or 2 damage if we have Fortified Rampart in play. It's kind of like an unblockable creature. Ondu Greathorn I wanted to try out. I figured this card is similar to Incubator Drone a lot of the time, but it can be way more aggressive on offense as a 4-power first striker. The Courier Griffins have been great all along. Good combo with this Calastrian Nightwatch. I was running Stonehaven Medic for some of the time too, because it combos with the Nightwatch, but 2 mana 1/3 is just pretty weak overall, so don't really like it. Banisher has still been great, pulling its weight. Card that I saw one of my opponents play, and it made me think this deck could actually make good use of it, because I do have 2 exile effects in Complete Disregard and Touch of the Void. So some looting, some extra card drawing is definitely welcome, and 5 toughness is pretty big, which makes it slightly better than Battle Herda, I actually think. 3/3 first strike is good, but this is pretty solid for the card advantage potential. Ooh, I guess a third card that exiles is the Judgment. The Sentinel and the Waving round out my suite of flyers, so I'm a little light on creatures. 13. 2 of them right here don't really attack. 3 of them don't attack. So I am a little light on threats, which is a little weird. But I could easily be playing a deck with a lot more threats, especially as you can see all these ones in white. But what I want to do show you is I play this deck a little bit. I think it's pretty bad. But here is my final build of Temur tokens, which is actually Temur white, splashing 2 of the back. I just couldn't not play Dawnglaire's Invoker and Auna's Judgment. Just too good of cards. But the whole point of this deck is to play creatures with 2 or less power for Raid Bombardment. I have 2 Raid Bombardments. I have pretty good fixing for the 4-color deck. I have to add a Fertile Thicket, splashing the white, and splashing the red removal, cut the black removal spells, which is only a couple. But I add some card advantage cards and comparative analysis, and shared discovery is particularly spicy, with all of my token generators, Nest Invader, Eyeless Watcher, Incubator Drone. So I'm hoping, and I get to play Seer's Lantern as well. Basically, this deck is kind of a combo deck. It just wants to play a bunch of bad creatures that have 2 power or less. Mist Intruder, Vulcan Turn, All these creatures are just straight garbage. And just try to find raid bombardment and just coup de grace them out of the game. I realize this deck is bad, but I wanted to give it a shot at some point. And so we'll see if I get the opportunity to do so. But in general, I think the Jeskai Black deck is the best. So I'm pretty happy with my deck. I'm sure there's maybe some other stronger pools out there. But yeah, I think we've got a fighting chance to do well. So again, stay tuned for 5 more matches this week, and I've actually got a bonus. I'll do 2-in-1 deck doctors. Both of the other top players going into the week shared their pool with me after they were done with their matches, just because I wanted to see how I'd build them. And it's a little bit of hindsight bias because I know what colors they played, but both their decks are really strong, and so I just wanted to see if I could come up with something similar. So we'll get to that in a later video. But again, I like to do these not only to maybe try to educate, but also for my own benefit. I like to watch my own replays, see if I could have played better, see if I made any mistakes. I don't think enough people do this kind of retrospective analysis, and it can hopefully help you get to be a better player. Owen Turtenwald definitely recommended doing this by watching some of the best coverage from the Pro Tours and Grand Prix of the past and study players better than you. I can study myself and try to see my own mistakes, but I definitely watch a lot of Magic content too to try to learn from people. And I think it has been helping me out in the future, getting better for the future. Got Grand Prix Albuquerque coming up this weekend, hoping to do some work and really get there, so to speak. So yeah. All right, so stay tuned for some matches.